What's up, BookTube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm talking about books with asexual characters. Happy Pride once again, and welcome back to part 3 of my little mini-series I'm doing for the month of June, where I talk about books with characters from different LGBTQ+ communities that don't get a lot of representation. I've done a video on books with trans and non-binary characters, one on books with bisexual and pansexual main characters, and now part 3 is books with asexual characters. As a disclaimer, I am not personally asexual, so I can't speak on if this is good rep or not, and unfortunately I also haven't read most of the books on this list. I did want to keep this series books that I have personally read myself, but apparently I haven't read a lot of books with asexual main characters in them that I can think of, at least. So I have read a few of them, so I'll start with those 3, but the ones after that I have not read, so I do apologize. But from what I've read online from different people's reviews, they seem to be pretty good. But anyways, let's get right into it, starting with the 3 books that I have read with asexual main characters in them. Starting with The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzi. Yes, this is the first book of the series. I don't have book 2, so I'm just gonna hold up this one. But the main character in book 2, at least, is Felicity, who is the sister of the main character in this book. Felicity is present in book 1 here, and her asexuality is talked about quite a bit, but of course not nearly as much as in book 2, where it's told from her perspective. But this series follows the Montague siblings. In the first book, the main character Monty goes on his grand tour with his sister, as well as his longtime friend slash secret crush Percy, and things go terribly wrong, and there's like pirates involved and like just a whole massive adventure. I love the first book, I love the second book, like both were amazing. I liked the characters in book 1 better, but the plot of book 2 better. I love Felicity's entire, just everything that she does in book 2. It was amazing. I love her as a character. She had so much more development in book 2, and her being asexual is a very, very prominent part of her story. They obviously don't use the word asexual because this takes place in like the 1600s, I think it is, but it's made very, very clear on page that Felicity has no interest in sexual relationships like whatsoever. It's a huge point of contention with her and her family, and just kind of the expectations of women back then. Felicity really has no interest in any part of it. She wants to be a scientist and a doctor, and she wants to study and go to school and like live her life how she wants it, and I think she's just such a badass. I love Felicity's character so much. She is wonderful, and yeah, she really just gets better and better with every page, especially in book 2. Next up is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. This is book 1 in the We Were Children series, which you all know I fucking adore. This is my favorite series of all time. This is a series of very short novellas about kids who have found a door to a different portal that took them to a place that they have learned to call home. It's just a world that's perfectly suited to them, and they belong there on some soul deep level, but shit happened and they end up having to leave those worlds for different reasons, and now they have no idea how to cope back in the real world. So they're brought to Eleanor School for Wayward Children, which fronts as a school for like delinquent students, but it's actually for these kids who have found portals to magical worlds, which obviously nobody believes them about, but Eleanor does because she is one of them, and the school just helps them learn how to cope in the real world while they wait for their doors home to hopefully open up again one day. So book 1 follows our main character Nancy. She came from a world that was run by the dead, and she was so happy there, and she has no idea how to function in this world full of life and color, and she is really struggling. But Nancy in this one is very openly asexual. She comes out multiple times throughout this book and has to come out kind of in like different ways to different people, which I found was very relatable to a lot of people in the LGBTQ+ community. We're all kind of constantly finding different ways to come out because every person you meet is going to be different, so the way that you come out to them has to be kind of different depending on the person and the situation. But yeah, I love this book so much. And the last of the books that I've actually read myself is Hullmetal Girls by Skrutskie. This one is a YA sci-fi with like mecha robots. They're fucking cool. So this one is set on a fleet of spaceships where the human population now lives. Our main character is from the poorest of these fleets, and her brother ends up getting sick with a plague, but she knows that she will not be able to afford the medication and treatment on her current salary. So she signs up to become a soldier where her body gets fused with mechanical parts, and she becomes kind of like half robot. It is not a life that most people want, but it pays really well. So she really has no choice. It's also very dangerous. Most people don't survive the transformation. So each soldier is assigned to a team, and through their new AI robot parts, all their minds are linked so they can constantly hear each other's thoughts. There is literally no privacy ever. And yeah, it's just a really wonderful found family unit of half robot, half human soldiers, just fighting to stay alive together. And they have this whole like government conspiracy. It's wonderful. I fucking love this book. I love this author. She's one of my favorite authors of all time. I'm just like obsessed with everything to do with Skrutskie, and if I can personally get more people to read her books, that would just make me so happy. So please read it. And then I have a couple of books that I have not personally read, so again, I cannot speak to if it's good representation or not. I really hope it is. I'm sorry if it's not. But the first book is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This one is about two guys who were like best friends and college roommates, and they were working on a theory they had where like under the right circumstances people can kind of get superpowers, but things obviously go wrong and one of them ends up in jail, and a flash forwards like 10 years later when he escapes from prison and is now trying to find the other one. But this one sounds cool as hell. I've read a couple of V.E. Schwab's books and I love her writing style. I've loved all of her characters and like just the way that she makes stories come to life. She's just such a gift. I love her dearly. So this is one that I really want to get to by the end of the year. I'm trying to like read through all of her works, so hopefully I'll read it soon. Next up is The Sound of Stars by Alechia Dow. This one sounds so fucking cute. Oh my god. This one is also a sci-fi set in like post-apocalyptic kind of world where any kind of art is completely illegal, like books, music, literally everything. But our main character loves art, she loves books especially, so she has a secret forbidden library that obviously nobody can know about. But an alien who is like literally, this is his job, is to take people in for having illegal art, finds her library. But the problem is that he really likes music, so the two of them try to work together to find a solution to this, which takes them on a journey across the galaxies. I have no idea where it's gonna go, but the two just like become really close friends. It's a found family one again, which I just love so much, and this book just sounds delightful and I need to read it like immediately. It sounds so cute. Another sci-fi is Seven Devils by Laura Lamb. This one, the plot I'm kind of hazy on like how to describe it. It's kind of a typical sci-fi plot line of like galaxies invading and a resistance trying to stop them and all that good stuff. So it doesn't sound like the most inventive plot line, which I don't mean in a bad way, but it does sound like a lot of fun. The characters seem really interesting, so I'm looking forward to this one as well. Next up I have another sci-fi, and that one is Not Your Backup by C.B. Lee. This is book 3 in the Sidekick Squad series. I actually just started the first book this morning and so far I'm loving it. But basically this book takes place quite a bit in the future after World War III has basically destroyed the planet, and after this like nuclear war, some people started to be born with superpowers, but with superheroes obviously comes supervillains. But this series doesn't focus on the heroes or the villains, it focuses on the sidekicks, the ones who don't have any powers at all, but they somehow get mixed up in this whole mess anyways. I believe the third book is about a character named Emma who is working for the resistance trying to fight against a like very corrupt like League of Superheroes kind of thing. I don't know much more aside from that. I'm like trying not to read too much about this one just so I don't get spoilers for like the first two books since I'm currently reading them. So I'm just going to leave that synopsis there just to avoid spoilers for myself. But so far the first book is amazing. And the last book for this video actually comes as a recommendation from my roommate who is obsessed with this series, and that is the Criminal Intention series by McCade. This is a police procedural series about a like homicide detective, and in this one the main character is openly demisexual. There are currently I think 26 books in this series, which is a huge number of books, but they're apparently just so freaking good. Like my roommate is literally obsessed. Like she is constantly talking about them. But this one is really interesting because it's written like it's a TV show, so each book is like one episode, so it's like very very slow burn. I have no idea how that would work in book form, but apparently it works very well. So but yeah, those are all of my recommendations slash suggestions for books with asexual characters in them. If you've read any of these books or have any recommendations for other books with asexual characters, please let me know in the comments. I would love to add some more to my TBR. But in the meantime, that'll do it for today's video. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!